Hi, it's Beaster456. So I've gotten to the hobby of knife making lately, so I thought I'd make a video and show you my setup. So this is my forge. It's it's a tire rim I got, my sister's old one, and I cut it down and made some holes so I can put stuff in the forge. I just finished forging for today, and because I ran out of charcoal, so it's kind of done. All there is ashes in there. It's still really hot right now. It's not that like it's hot. You wouldn't want to put your hand in there. So what I do is I use this shop vac. This is the other end that blows out air, and I put it up through here. There's a hole in the bottom, and that's my blower, and it gets it pretty hot, so it's good for that. And this is my anvil. It's a railroad plate, and I made this little stand. I had a 4x6, and I cut it down, and I put some 2x4s at the end. And I had this piece of wood, and I just like nailed it to it, so it works okay. It's not great. I'm gonna get a real anvil at some point. It's really loud, so it's not very good though. You don't want it to be loud. It means it's not a good anvil. So I have tools. I can go in my shed and show you my tools. I just don't like to keep them out. Bag of charcoal. It's like empty, so to get some more. Got a cross peen hammer. Some tongs. They're ones I got from Harbor Freight. They're wire snippers, and I tried to make them into real tongs, and I just kind of stopped, and they left them like that. So I'll finish them at some point. Pliers. They're what I use to take stuff in and out of the fire. Here's my propane torch I use for heat treating my knives. I used it as my primary forge for a while, but it uses a lot of propane, so I decided to make a charcoal forge out there, and I just use this for heat treating because it doesn't take that long to get up to heat treat temperature. My gloves. I need to get some new gloves. I'm going to get some big leather welding gloves because those would work pretty good. And here's a wrench I stuck a magnet in, and that's to tell if it's the right temperature for heat treating. That works pretty good. That weight I used for an anvil when I started a long time ago, like several months. I've been doing this for a while, so several months ago I used that as an anvil before I made my beauty over there. So I'll show you my workshop inside in a minute. I'm back, and I'm in my workshop inside now. I'll get back and show you the whole thing. It's not very big. I don't have much of a workshop. What I do have is a Harbor Freight 1x30 belt sander, which I use to grind my bevels. This belt's on here right now is a wood one I use for wood, like for my handles. So this is my bench grinder, which I use for like roughing out like grind profiles and stuff. That doesn't have that much horsepower, so I don't use it for heavy stuff. This you can use for heavy stuff because it's got these big abrasive wheels, and you can like cut stuff down and grind stuff out easier. Here's some tung oil and wood stain I use for my handles. I'll show you some of my knives in a minute. These right here, these are not for knives. I made a knife out of it at one point before I knew what I was doing, but this is just welding steel that you can get like Menards or Home Depot, and what I'm going to use it for is a sanding block, which I'm not done with it yet, but when it's done it'll be a sanding block, and it'll help sand my knives. So right there. Some of my tools. Angle grinder, very useful. Right, it's got a cutting disc. It's really thin and it cuts metal really fast. I got 10 of them, a 10 pack of them at Harbor Freight for like $8. Cut-off wheels, they're called cut-off wheels. And I go through those I don't use them that much. I don't do that much forging, just because I have metal that I don't really need to forge. There's some steel wool, it's really fine grit, so that's for like finishing the blade. Here is my drill. It has a buffing wheel attachment on it right now for buffing. I buffed handles and blade with it, and it works alright for buffing. Here's some chisels for woodworking mostly. I do a little bit of woodworking when I have to on my handles. Here's a file, which is the basic tool for knife making. You can do pretty much everything you want to do. You can make a knife with a file, like pretty much just with a file. It would take a really long time, but you could do it if you wanted to. It's a double cut file. It takes more. There's double cut and single cut, and single cut doesn't take as much metal off, but double cut does. That's what I use it for. I use it for doing grind profiles, like for the bevel. That's what I use it for. Oscillating tool attachments and bits and various things, cutters. The only thing I use it for, I just use it for cutting out handle shapes. Like here's the wood I use for cutting out handle shapes. It's oak. I got it at Menards. It's like a board. Here's another one. I got two of them. Solid oak, 1/4 inch by 4 inch by 2 feet. So that was like $4, and I bought two of them, and I've made several knives with that piece right there, so I will have this for a while longer. What else do I have? I have been oscillating what do you call this? Variable. It's not variable speed. Why does it say that? This is variable speed. If it focuses. This is variable speed, and it's not really variable speed. It's on and off. But I use that for cutting out handles, like the shapes, just a rough shape like a rectangle. And instead of getting that big saw over there, and I have a bandsaw, but it's in my shed, and I don't feel like getting it out. All this is just crap. This is not mine. This is my dad's. But yeah, this is technically my dad's, but I don't think he's ever used it. He got it for sharpening lawnmower blades, which I took over, so now it's pretty much mine, because I'm the only one who uses it, and that is mine for sure. I bought it with my own money, made for making knives. And here's a file, half of a file. I cut the other part out, and I made a knife out of it. I'll show you in a minute. We got it thrift shop for like $2. I got two of them. I have another one. Let me show you. This pretty dainty thing is for my sandpaper, and it's got different grits. I am running low on sandpaper. I need to get some more. I have 1,000 grit and 500 grit. I have tons of that, but I only have like one sheet of 100 grit, 150 grit, and I need to get 100 grit and 200 grit. I need to go get some from Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight is like my go-to store. I go there all the time because it's cheap and it's good enough quality for me, because I don't use my tools every day like some people would. Safety glasses, yeah, you don't want to go blind, and I have earplugs in my pocket because it's loud and it's annoying. It's not like deafening, but it's loud enough. Here's drill bits. Where are they all at? Hold on. Oh, where all my drill bits go? Someone took them. Yeah, someone borrowed my drill bits. But whatever. I'll get them back. I know where they are. But I have more. These are high-speed drill bits, and you can drill metal with them, but I don't really drill metal with them because it's too much trouble. I have several cobalt drill bits, which are really hard, and you can drill metal. It drills metal pretty fast. So I have those, but someone has them. So yeah. Here's a knife. I don't know what kind of knife. It'd be either like a skinning knife, maybe, or a wood carving knife. But I don't know. I think it looks nice. I put some wood stain on it and tung oil, and it's pretty good. I like the look of it, and the blade looks pretty nice, even though this is crappy steel, and you couldn't really sharpen this. You can do some stuff with it, but it's not going to hold. You can't cut hair with it. You're never going to be able to cut hair with it. But I like this one. This is one knife ago. This is my second knife I ever made. The first knife I'm not even going to show you because you don't need to see it. It's that bad. This is pretty ugly. I mean, it works. It's a lawnmower blade, and this one will actually get pretty sharp. You can get this one sharp because it's a lawnmower blade. But it's ugly. Like, the shape is ugly, and the grind is ugly. It's not shiny, and the handle's ugly. It doesn't fit. It's not straight, so it doesn't fit it good. And I didn't epoxy it. I just put pins in it, and the pins are ugly because they don't fit. I didn't smooth them down. I just cut them. I crimped them with some wire cutters, and I didn't hardly sand them down. I sanded them down on this side. I didn't sand it down on this side. That was before I had that, and I did it on here. See, there's like brown spots on here. That's because I grind wood on it. It works, but it smells, and I don't like it, so I don't do that anymore. But it's a functional knife, like, it'll cut stuff. See, cuts chunks out of it and stuff. It's poplar handle, and yeah, this is my second knife. I'm not gonna show you my first knife, like I said. And I made, how many knives did I make after that one? I made 1, 2, 3 knives. 2 knives, 3 knives, yeah, 3 knives after this one, and I sold 2 of them, and I made one for my uncle. Then I made this one, and this one is forged, and I really like this one. It's really nice. It's made out of a file. This is made out of the other half of that file, and I forged this shape of it, and this is a file, and files are made of really high carbon steel, and you can get a good edge on those if you harden it right. And this handle is oak. All of them are, because that's just what I have. And I just put tung oil on this one. And 3 pins. Oh, I can show you my pins I have over there in a minute. And I just use 3 pins on it because that's really all I need. And then I use super glue to glue it on there. It works good. I used epoxy for one of them. I thought that's all you could use, but it's not really. Super glue works pretty good, or it's Gorilla super glue. The only thing I don't like about this knife is it's not perfectly straight. I don't know if you can tell. Can't really tell on the camera. I don't know why, but it's not perfectly straight. But it works pretty good, and it's pretty sharp, and it looks nice. So, yeah. Here's my most recent knife. I like this one. This one's nice. The handle is nice. It's got a grip. It's kind of got a grippy shape to it. You can put your fingers in it, and then the handle is long enough that you can actually use it for stuff. And this is really thick. It's like 1/4 inch thick steel, which is really thick for knives. But it's not. It's mild steel, so you can't. It's like this. It's made from the same steel as this knife is, and you can't sharpen it. It's not sharp. You can sharpen it. Like, I put a bevel on. It's got a primary bevel. Can't really see it because I sanded it all on the same grit, and it's kind of sanded down. But you can see the secondary bevel, which is really where the cutting happens. And you can't really get it sharp. It looks nice, but you could chop stuff with this. Like, you could chop tree limbs down. Small tree limbs. It's sort of like an axe almost. It's just that it's that thick and hefty, and it looks pretty clean up. It's got some marks. I'm not gonna get them out. I'm actually selling this one, but and this has got pretty big pins. I didn't want to use really small pins in this one because it's such a big knife. I figured I'd go and get some bigger stock, metal stock that I could make bigger pins with, and it looks nicer. And this handle's oak, like all the other ones, and I put that, and then I put tung oil on it after. I left it on longer on this knife. I did them at the same time, and this one's darker, and then I put tung oil over it to like seal it, because this is kind of sticky after it dries, and I didn't like the stickiness, and it smells really strong. I don't really like the strong smell. But yeah, this one I'm selling. I have a friend who will buy this, and so that's kind of cool. I'm selling for $30, just because I'm not that great at making knives yet, and they're high school students, so they don't have that much money. And yeah, it's a nice knife. I think I really like it. I wish I could keep it, but I don't really use my knives. I have several knives. I don't use them hardly at all. It's like making them. But yeah. And this one, I just finished forging this one. This is not how it's gonna look. I ran out of charcoal, so only got this far. I straightened it. It was curved before, and I just made a rough handle shape. I'm gonna have to cut this down a lot because this is ugly and I don't like it. But yeah, the forging straightens it out, and yeah. But this knife was made the exact same size piece as this knife. There's this going big knife, so it's the other half. It was a lawnmower blade, and I cut it in half, and this is the other half of it. So it's not going to be like this. It's going to be prettier than this. I'm going to heat treat this one as I can. And yeah, so that's about it. Oh, here's a belt sander, Black & Decker. This is the only brand name thing I have, pretty much. I'm going to show you my bar stock. This is 1/8 inch. It's steel. It looks yellowy, but it's steel. I use that for pins. It looks like brass, which I kind of like. And this is 1/4 inch. This is pretty thick. So that's for the big knife, and this will be for bigger knives. But I don't have to use it for everything. I can use that for most things. But it's gonna be pretty big. This is my apron. I was grinding, and I got holes in my clothes because I was grinding so much, and I decided to wear an apron so I could not have holes in my clothes. And then these are belts for the belt sander. They're really cheap, like 89 cents a piece at Harbor Freight. I love Harbor Freight. So yeah, that's my knife shop, my various tools. So goodbye. I'll show you some more. I'll make some forging videos and a progress report on that knife over there. So goodbye.